Hello, friends. We are on the third recall paper starting from May 2024, moving to November 2023. Now we are on May 2023. Those who are watching the first video and haven't watched the other two, I just want to tell you that first we started off with the analysis of the last 10 INI-CET papers starting from 2020 right up till 2024. We looked at the common topics which are being repeated again and again. And we also highlighted the topics which have been asked only once. So in this recon series, we are just looking at the questions, the options, and their answer. We will discuss the topics one by one. We'll do a deep dive in the topics once all the recall questions are done. We'll not go into the details of the topic here. We'll just mark the question option and the answers. The detailed discussion for each of the topics will be done separately, where we will make sure that you know the topic inside out and any variation from this topic that the examiners ask, you are able to answer them confidently. Okay, you know that biochemistry is a very high yield topic, and you can get very good marks if you do the topics properly. A lot of common topics are being repeated again and again and again. So this whole exercise is a step in that direction, that you can get the high score which is possible from biochemistry. So without much ado, let's quickly do the recall questions from May 2023 INI-CET exam for biochemistry. So first question, which amino acid is not used for synthesis of hormones? Okay, so adenosine, phenylalanine, tryptophan. All of these are involved in synthesis of hormones. Uh, Glycine per se is not directly used in the synthesis of hormones. So here, the preferred answer would be glycine. In Okay, in this question, we have a list of topics which is called special products for amino acids. So there we'll talk about the products coming from each of the different amino acids, where all the different amino acids join to make products, but which is not coming through translation. These are independent, separate enzymatic reactions. We'll talk about them as one topic. In Pompe's disease, enzyme deficiency is acid maltase or lysosomal glucosidase or lysosomal 1,4,1,6 glucosidase. Mr. Glycogen phosphorylase, the glucose is phosphatase and beta glucosidase. Now, please note, glycogen storage disorder is again one commonly asked question along with the glycogen metabolism. So we'll do a deep dive in this topic again. For the time being, remember the answer is acid maltase, also commonly known as the lysosomal glucosidase, which is deficient in glycogen storage disorder type 2, also known as the Pompe's. Okay. Barth syndrome is associated with cardioskeletal myopathy, deficiency of which of the structural components of mitochondrial membrane is associated with this disorder. Your options are cardiolipin, lysolecithin, plasmalogen, and lecithin. Please note this is from the properties or the classification of the lipids, and you have to remember Barth syndrome is associated with deficiency of cardiolipin, which is found in the mitochondria. Mitochondria is very important for muscles, so both cardiac and skeletal muscles are affected. You get the cardioskeletal myopathy, genetic deficiency known as the Barth syndrome. We look at the different important sphingolipids and the other molecules coming from lipids, which are commonly asked. Again, we will talk about the classification of the lipids. Liver cannot use ketone bodies due to deficiency of which of the enzymes? Your options are thiophorase, thiolase, thioesterase, and thiokinase. All of them sounding similar. For the record, please note the answer is thiophorase, also known as succinyl coenzyme acetoacetate transferase. Coenzyme transferase. Okay, short form thiophorase, which is deficient in liver. That is why, although liver synthesizes the ketone bodies, it cannot make use of the ketone bodies. We'll look at ketogenesis and the ketone metabolism separately as one topic later on. A child with type 1 diabetes mellitus is brought to hospital in an unconscious state. On examination of urine, the following result was achieved. What is this test? So when I say type 1 diabetes mellitus, you should quickly remember that in type 1 diabetes mellitus, you can have uh, ketosis and there can be coma. Okay, ketoacidosis leading to coma. In type 2 diabetes, you have the non-ketotic hyperosmotic episodes, but here you have the ketoacidosis leading to diabetic ketoacidosis is the characteristic feature. So obviously, for the ketone bodies can be identified by which of the following: Rothman test, Fawcett test, Binet test. The answer here is the Rothras test, also known as the modified nitroxide test. Nowadays, we don't do this test in a tube. The test is mounted on a strip on the multi-stick. So you just dip it in the urine and drain the excess water. And after a few seconds, compare the strip on the chart which is there on the box of the urine strip. It will tell you whether the ketone body is there or not. Xanthuronic aciduria is seen in the deficiency of vitamin B6, B1, B2, B12. Vitamins is very, very important topic, very frequently being asked again and again and again. Every paper will have 2, 3 questions from vitamins minimum. You can have even more in the NEET PG. NEET PG typically has 8 to 10 questions from the vitamins. Here, the correct answer is vitamin B6. Vitamin B6 has one of the characteristic features of the xanthuronic aciduria. We'll look at the different vitamins, how the deficiency is present, what are the important causes, clinical presentation, all of that we'll discuss separately when you're doing the vitamins. Which of the following is not true about collagen? It is a fibrillar protein. Vitamin C and copper are needed for adequate cross-linking. Most abundant amino acid is phenylalanine, hydroxyproline, and proline are found. Please note this is correct. If nothing else is mentioned, collagen means collagen type 1, which is fibrillar. Vitamin C and copper are essential coenzymes or cofactors for cross-linking. Vitamin C for the hydroxylation process, vitamin and copper for prolyl uh, lyse, prolyl oxidase. Sorry, I'm so sorry. It is lysyl oxidase for which copper is required. And hydroxyproline and proline are found. Most abundant amino acid is glycine. The most abundant amino acid is glycine. So the correct answer here is uh, this is not true about collagen. Most abundant amino acid is phenylalanine. This is not a correct statement. It should have been. DNA sequence for template strand is 5 dash blah 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 3 dash. What is the sequence of RNA when transcribed by the RNA polymerase? Then you have the 4 options. Please note that the DNA RNA sequence relationship is again a very commonly repeated question. When we say that we're talking about the template strand, this means we are looking for complementary sequences. When we say complementary sequences, then the 3 dash of the DNA will become 5 dash of the RNA, and then you have to write the complementary sequences. So you don't have to translate the whole sequence. What you have to do is translate 1 or 2 or maybe 3 sequences from the 3 dash end. So C will pair with G, C will pair with G. Look for a G pair at 5 dash and 5 dash AG, UC, CC, GG. This is the correct answer. We'll tell you how to do this DNA RNA sequence relationship, how to find out the sequence of RNA when the sequence of DNA is given. When we discuss this topic separately. Okay, so don't worry about that. Highest thermic effect among the different foodstuff is for proteins, carbohydrates, fats, all have the same. Here the correct answer is proteins. About 30% is the thermic energy of food for the protein. Okay, so it is the highest thermic effect among all the foodstuff. Okay, identify the correct order of draw of blood samples is an important question. You have different options: citrate, followed by clot activator, followed by EDTA, followed by sodium fluoride. So in this option, they have mentioned the components in the tube. In this option, they have mentioned the color: blue, red, green, green, blue, red, green, red, blue. Okay, so the first one has to be the citrate, followed by clot activator, followed by DTA, followed by NAF. In the first series, the first option is correct. In the second series, blue is correct, green, red, not correct. Blue, red, green. This one is correct. This one is correct. So the order of draw is again a very, very important and basic concept that you must know when you go to the clinics, and we discuss this in one separate topic where we'll show you these slides. And as you can see in the paper November 2023, also this question has been asked by giving the image of the gray vial. So important topic, must know. We'll take a look at this later on. A mother, while kissing the child, finds the sweat of the child to be salty. When genetic testing was conducted, CFTR gene was found to be mutated. Which of the following channels is affected? Chloride, sodium, potassium, iodide. All of you know that in the cystic fibrosis, it is the chloride channel in the skin which is getting affected. Okay. Now, calculate the NAND gap if the following result is achieved on ABG analysis. We are getting the ABG analysis and acid-base disorders along with the NAND gap in every paper. In 2024, we had two questions. 23 November also had a question. 23 May, you can see another question is there. So the NM map is very easy and simple. What you have to remember, all the medicine faculty will tell you only use sodium, don't use potassium. So it is sodium minus chloride plus bicarbonate. So when you solve this, chloride plus bicarbonate is 110. When you subtract it from 145, your answer is 30. 35 is the NAND gap in the given question. We'll talk about an gap, acid-base disorders, acid-base homeostasis in the body in one topic, a big deep dive in acid-base. We'll do the flow chart, how to quickly identify the acid-base disorders, whether the compensation is there or not, what is the ANAN gap, all these things we'll discuss when we talk about acid-base disorders. A drug action study to be performed in individuals with high fat diet. How much fat should be present in each meal of the subjects? Now, this is a tricky question. Your options are 5 to 10%, 10 to 15%, 20 to 30%, and more than 35%. Now, the trick here is to remember that the amount of fat in a normal diet is actually 20 to 30%. So, when you're talking about high fat diet, we're talking about high fat diet, then the answer should be greater than 35%. The amount of fat has to be greater than 35%. Only then it will be called high fat diet. Now, in INI-CET, we very frequently get questions where multiple choices are correct. So, this is one of those questions. Severe vomiting leads to hypokalemia, hypochloremia, metabolic alkalosis, and respiratory alkalosis. So, if you notice in vomiting, hypokalemia, hypochloremia, and metabolic alkalosis, all of these are seen. Okay. We'll again, when we do the discussion, we'll cover this point. So these are the questions in May 2023 from biochemistry. We'll quickly complete all the 10 papers and then go on to the important topics which are coming up again and again in your exam. We'll make sure that all the angles from that topic are covered so that any twist, any form the question asked from that topic, you are confident to answer that question. So that is all for now. Thank you very much. Stay tuned. Bye bye.